and kind of on par with Vanderbilt now. What is that rivalry like now that Tennessee's just not just manhandling Vanderbilt every year?
Well, it's funny, Bob. It's always, even if Tennessee's falling on hard times, and we understand that maybe from a competitive standpoint we are equal at this moment in time with a Vanderbilt squad. But over the history of time, Tennessee has thoroughly dominated Vanderbilt, so it's not really close in that aspect. So Tennessee fans look at it more as a little brother now coming of age type of analogy. Maybe at a younger age he wasn't able to put up the type of fight that he was, but I'm still the big brother when he gets a little bit bigger, so I'm still able to dominate him. And I think that Tennessee, from that standpoint, the trajectory that Tennessee has compared to the trajectory that Vanderbilt has is a big difference. You see what Josh Dobbs and that offense was able to do in the last handful of games when he was on his game. Not so much in that Vanderbilt game, but when he's on this game, he's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC East coming in the next year. So Tennessee's got a top 10 recruiting class coming in to go along with the momentum that they gain and going to a bowl game. I really think Tennessee could possibly contend for the SEC East with all of the turmoil that you're going to have next year from all the other schools. Florida's looking for a coach. Can Mark Richt, find a season where he puts it all together? They're going to need a new quarterback next year as well. Missouri's not going to be as good. So Tennessee has an outside shot to being really good and having some chemistry with the young players that they've had to play. Vanderbilt, Derek Mason, he has been he's been a mess. I mean, he's been a mess since he's been at Vanderbilt. I also work at National Sports Radio, and we do, I help with some of the call-in shows that they have there, and, the reaction that you get over this coach is one of, they can't believe how bad it's been since James Franklin and Derek Mason. And, some of the fans were calling for his head earlier this year as they really started rough out the gates. But they put it together at the end. I don't know how he's going to recruit because Butch Jones is really locked down this state. He's getting his free recruits in and there. But Vanderbilt is going to be a struggle. But I think that they can at least, in most cases, be maybe not the bottom dweller in the SEC East.
Could you see a scenario where Jimbo Fisher leaves Florida State for maybe a Florida with all the trouble that he's at? Jameis Winston's probably gone. There's been off-the-field issues with running backs, defensive players. If I were him, I'd get out of Dodge as quickly as possible. And I know, right down the, right in the same state, you could just move over to, Gainesville, take over Florida, and that's a rebuilding project. But you're recruiting the same base. You could easily take the players that you just recruited at Florida State over to Florida. What do you think? Do you think that there's a possibility Jimbo Fisher leaves Florida State? And if he does, he could go to Florida?
So you're talking about the Pete Carroll move or the Bobby Petrino, or the move to get out of Dodge right before the heat in the kitchen really gets turned up. I mean, hey, I can understand that way of thinking, but it seems like Jimbo is lock in step with Tallahassee. He's not going anywhere. They've protected him and his players in every way that they can. It's getting out there in the media now. Of course, we heard all these allegations, but for the most part, the Tallahassee PD doesn't seem to want you to know about a lot of this going down there with their Florida State athletes. They want to protect their national championship, so maybe some, sanctions come, I'm not sure, but with the NCAA being as weak as they've been in the past, really not having any credibility when it comes down to it matters, I don't know how much trouble Florida State gets into. The James Winston thing, they pushed that off so many times that I can see maybe some things coming up on that if he's alleged to have done something, but he's still just alleged, and we don't know. So it doesn't seem like Jimbo's going to leave. I don't know. He seems to relish the moment. I mean, this team really comes on at the end of games. I don't know why every game is competitive, but it seems to bring a joy to Jimbo's face. I don't know if it's joy of the pressure, joy of the moment, but he seems to enjoy the moment that he's in.
You brought up Bobby Petrino. How great would it be if he coaches? How great of a Bobby Petrino move would it be to coach 3 teams in 3 years and then go to Florida? I mean, that would be perfect. Great coach, great recruiter. I don't know why he would say no. He definitely wouldn't say no, and I can't see why Florida should say no to Bobby Petrino engagement.
It would be a total Bobby Petrino move to pull sticky note tab, all of his Louisville players, and maybe ride his Harley down all the way from Louisville down to Gainesville. That would be totally up the alley of something Bob Petrino is going to do. But it's a little different. I think he hopefully learned his lesson in this whole situation. I mean, I remember when he was coaching at Western Kentucky, and, he would call into Nashville a lot because their fan base of Bowling Green wasn't too far from where we're at here. So he often talked about those things, some of the lessons that he learned and the way that he turned it around. And then he went out to Louisville and made that statement where he never should have left the first time. I mean, how slimy would this guy look if he made a move at any point now for the next decade? I mean, his credibility is shot, but maybe that works in his favor, and you already expect him to do something like that. And when he does, why be surprised? So it could go either way. I love the story of Bob Petrino. I just think it's one of the funniest ones, not from, some of the things that he's done, but just this guy, because he knows how to coach offensive football so well. The things that he's been able to do and the jobs he's been able to get, Lane Kiffin and Bob Petrino, to me, are two of the funny cases of guys that have gotten jobs.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and take another break here on the Bob Sullivan Show. If you want to call in after the break, the number is 585-633-7487. You're listening to the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. One-week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Got a player who's hurt? No problem. Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000, another turned $2 into $10,000, and a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day. Just playing fantasy football at DraftKings. Head to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play in free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com. If you'd like to call in, the number is 585-633-7487. I am back here with Carlos Page of SportaholicRadio.com. Carlos, in Tennessee, Memphis Grizzlies, top of the West right now. Is Memphis just on cloud nine right now with the way the Grizzlies are playing? They never played this well early on. It's usually, let's just get through the regular season, get to the playoffs, and we got a special style that works in the playoffs, and we can win a couple series here and there. What's it like being this good this early?
I'll tell you what, it's been great from the standpoint that Memphis is underrated, I think, across the country as a basketball town. I mean, Memphis produced a lot of, D1 athletes in the game in basketball. And, it loves its basketball in Memphis. It's funny, in Tennessee, you have kind of three quadrants in this state. You have, the western quadrant that would consider Memphis, and they're very different in the way they do things. Middle Tennessee and Nashville, you have East Tennessee and Knoxville. But Memphis and Tennessee is known as a state for being as a football state, but Memphis is really a basketball city, and it's great to see the fans be able to get something back this year. They're 15-2. They're rolling high. They really look great. And, we talked about this off air. They have a style that I think is most identifiable in the NBA right now. When you talk about a style that that works, it's just like you said, it's like a good defense in a football game. They're going to do different things to you. They're going to slow you down. They're going to make it tough for you to score. It's not going to be a good night at the office. You're not going to enjoy playing the Memphis Grizzlies at any time, and teams hate playing teams like that. So they're able to continue this win streak. I worry about certain things that can keep up this offensive pace, but looking at this team going forward, they have a chance to do something special this year. They have a chance at 55, 60 wins, if everything keeps the way that it's going.
With, the Grizzlies, I feel like if I grew up in the 90s, I fell in love with the Knicks, been a Knicks fan my whole life, just watching the style from Riley to Van Gundy, kind of, grind it down, not really having, they had Ewing, but similar to the Knicks, there's not, a top 5 player on this team. Looking at the Grizzlies, how does that affect, they have 3 players that are probably in the top 5 in each, at each position in the league, but it still doesn't feel like they get the respect they deserve. Why do you think that is?
Oh, it's just the media market. Memphis, you got this little, maybe happy-go-lucky story in Memphis where it's not as big as L.A. The Lakers are always going to get the pub over a Memphis team unless the Memphis team is playing in the NBA Finals. It's just the way it is. You want to hear those big stories from those big cities in L.A., like you said, New York, Philadelphia, these towns that has a longer traditional fan base. So when Memphis comes along, they really have to prove it. You really have to go out there and win games and maybe, compete for championships on a regular basis before you become a team, a small market team that gets respect like the San Antonio Spurs. Think about the San Antonio Spurs and how many times we looked at that team and we didn't want to admit how good they were just because they didn't seem like they fit up to the aspirations that we had of some of those bigger market teams, but they always came back and were true to their style, and they developed the identity that has worked and worked and worked. And Memphis is kind of on that same trajectory. They have to break through and win a championship, And, you said they have 3 of the top players at their positions, but the one thing that they consistently not hitting this run of success ahead is that one go-to guy on the perimeter when games come down late. You always want that coach